Good morning. This is Kamera again. We're on day number 141. We're in a new book, Ezra. Ezra chapter 1 through 3. So we've covered, I believe, 14 books already. Do I need to go through them all? Let's try. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy. I always get Numbers and Deuteronomy mixed up. Numbers, then Deuteronomy. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. That's 14 books, but we're on the 15th book, which is Ezra. And so last thing we read was the children of Israel, children of Judah being exiled to Babylon, and that Cyrus, of Persia, is sending the children of Israel or children of Judah back. And this is the thing, guys. There was a prophecy made by Jeremiah that this was going to happen and that there was going to be a rest for 70 years. And so that's where we are right now. This is 70 years after the exile of Judah. And so that prophecy did come true. And so, as you know, children of Israel were exiled to Babylon, but then Persia took over in that 70 years. And now there's Cyrus, who's king of Persia. The Lord stirred his heart to send the children of Judah back to build the temple. I love the way he addressed the people and say, God of the Lord of heaven, who's given me all kingdoms of earth, stirred up his heart. So I love the way he addressed God. So yeah, he sent out this proclamation to any of the Jewish people: if you want to go back to assist. There was no demand, but this was an open invitation to whoever want to leave. They are free to go back to Jerusalem, Judah, and rebuild the temple of God. And so it also advised the neighbors of these Jewish people that they can assist with giving offering to contribute to the building of the temple. And so, yeah, that's a wonderful thing, right? So there were neighbors who gave silver, they gave gold, they gave supplies for the journey. They gave of a lot of things, actually. So that was awesome to see. Also, Cyrus gave back all of the items that Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the temple. Like the basins, the bowls, the gold and silver bowls and the basins, and the candle burners, and different things like that. So I wrote down there were 5,400 articles that were removed from the temple that Cyrus gave back to the children of Judah. And then the Bible goes through all the people and families who went back to Jerusalem. So there were the men of Israel. There were priests, Levites, the temple workers, servants of Solomon. Not them, but some of them were the original. Some of them were descendants, people who were born in this exiled location. And so it says that there were 392 temple servants and servants of Solomon, their descendants. 652 people could not prove that there were descendants. So there were other people who went as well. So there was 42,360 who returned to Judah, 7,337 servants, 200 singers, and also they had horses and mules and camels and donkeys. And so once they got there, those exiles got back to Jerusalem, they gave an offering. A lot of them gave offerings by families. The collection was 61,000 gold coins, 62,500 pounds of silver, 100 robes for the priests. And so, yeah, it says that the singers, the Levites, the priests, the gatekeepers, the temple servants, and some of the common folk, they stayed in villages near Jerusalem. And all the other people, they went to their homelands in Israel. But get this, they all gathered together in assembly once everyone was settled in their locations, even the people who went back to in different locations in towns in Israel. They all assembled for that main purpose, and that main purpose was to rebuild the temple. And so once they gathered together, they built an altar. Well, actually, it was the priests, a couple priests who built the altar because they wanted to start their sacrifices unto God. And so there were other people there. There were other locals there. It wasn't just the children of Judah and Israel who were there. There were locals. That was 70 years. So, yeah, there were locals there. And they were pretty fearful of the locals. But they went ahead and built that altar. And they began sacrificing unto God day and night. Even before they started to lay this foundation, they began to have their burnt offerings unto God. And so, it says here about, I believe, what later on, I guess when they were ready, they laid the foundation for the temple. And when they laid that foundation, after they laid that foundation, they had this huge celebration. This huge celebration because they had started to rebuild the temple. And some of the older people who remember the original temple, they cried out. But then there were shouts of joy as well, mingled with the cries of the people who had seen the original construction of the temple. And so, yeah, now the children of Israel are back, or of Judah are back, and they're building the temple, and that's where we are, guys. Ezra. So, guys, that's day number 141. Ezra chapter 1 through 3. You guys have a God-filled blessed day.